we're set to have yet another wonderful night swimming.
We've got some stars on show for you this evening. Joe Litchfield, Amy Wilmot, the likes of Holly Hibbert and Ellie Faulkner too, swimming in the 400 freestyle. It's going to be a belter of an evening. Stay where you are, feet up, and watch swimming for the next couple of hours. Stakes here, of course, high. The pressure in here is rocketing. Emotions have run high all week. We've had swimmers triumph and we've had swimmers fail. There'll be more of the same tonight as some of our brightest stars here in England bid to make their way onto that Team England setup for the Commonwealth Games and aim to put themselves in the mix for selection for the Gold Coast 2018 Commonwealth Games. And we're going to see some swimmers make the times, or perhaps not, tonight. It's going to be a good one. Now, of course, if you missed last night, if you're not quite sure who's made it and who fell just short, we've got the highlights for you right now, including a stunning 200-metre individual medley for the women. Take a look.
Yeah, our penultimate night opened with a barnstorming women's 200 metres individual medley. A quality field was headed by 400 metres winner Amy Wilmot, and there was a feeling of deja vu as just in the 400, her and Abby Wood dipped below that all-important qualification standard. Both will have high hopes of securing a place on the plane to the Gold Coast. Wilmot will go for the final time in a very successful meet in the 200 flight tonight. Another swimmer who's had a golden meet has been James Wilby. Having secured the qualification time in the 100 breaststroke, he completed the hat-trick in the 50, having already won the 200. In a hugely competitive breaststroke division in Britain, there's now a new name to look out for as a Loughborough man rounded off a great personal meet in style. The women's 200 backstroke was dominated by Canadian Taylor Ruck, one of our international guests this week, as she asserted her dominance to claim the win. Chloe Golding was some way behind, but did go fast enough to secure her second Commonwealth time of the week, following success in the 100. For Canadian Ruck, her night was just beginning. The men's 100 metres butterfly was next up as Jacob Peters, who swam so well behind James Guy the night previously in the 200, took home the win. A touch outside the qualification standard he may have been targeting, but still went under the 53-second barrier for the first time in his young career, something to certainly be pleased with. The night then concluded with the women's 100 metres freestyle as Taylor Ruck once again put on a clinic inside Ponds Forge. The Canadian, still just 17 years old, is going to be one swimmer to certainly keep an eye on next year in Australia. Coached by former GB coach Ben Titley, the youngster is a special talent and closed out another great evening of swimming in style.
Sheer dominance from Taylor Ruck there in the 200 back. I mean, that was stunning to watch here, and to see her then come back in the 100 free and some 52.96 as well. She was streets ahead, so one of the swimmers to watch out for on the Gold Coast next year. We've said it all week, it's brilliant. We've got the likes of Canada and Belgium here fine-tuning their preparations and giving both the English talent here and of course some of our junior swimmers stepping up the chance to mix it amongst the international elite. It has been brilliant. This isn't the only swimming going on tonight. Talking of international action, we of course have the European Short Course Championships in Copenhagen in Denmark. Catherine Greenslade, Duncan Scott and Jocelyn Ulliet all in action tonight, and we'll bring you those results as and when we get them through the course of the evening.
And not the only European competition to look out for in the coming months as well. Not just the Commonwealth Games to target for our swimmers next year. There's also the very small matter of the European Championships, and they're coming to Britain and coming to Glasgow.
Gets ahead right on the line.
Well, here we go. Let's take a look at it. What is to come this afternoon? The men's 200-metre individual medley kicks things off. The The Commonwealth consideration time we need there, a 1:59.76. And we've got Tom Dean and Joe Litchfield both going for that one. We then have the women's 200-metre butterfly. Emily Large already selected in that event. Again, Laura Stephens, Kiara Schlossen and Amy Wilmot. She's had a busy old meet, she really has, and she's been in the studio with us too. Brilliant to chat to her. She'll be going in the 200 fly, looking for that 2:10.19 needed.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting meet in terms of the start, but in the middle we've got a real splash and dash section. The men's 50 freestyle, the quickest event at this meet. Take a look out for Tom Fannon in that one from Plymouth. And the women's 50 back will be a good watch as well. Phoebe Lenderyou from Newcastle was the quickest through in that one. Anna Main is always handy over 50 metres as well. Men's 200 backstroke then follows that. Tough qualification standard 1:58.67. Daniel Cross from Loughborough is the man who's probably got the best chance of hitting that, but keep an eye out for the likes of Nick Pyle and Luke Greenbank, who's already got that qualification time in the bank heading into the Commonwealth Games. We then end the individual races with a women's 400 freestyle, which should actually be a brilliant race, especially in the A final. Holly Hibbert leads the way, followed by Eleanor Faulkner, the likes of Alice Deering are in there. And we've got Hannah Miley in lane 2 as well, who, as we mentioned to her in the studio yesterday, just never seems to stop swimming. And we'll come back to that conversation as we get closer to that race this evening. We'll round off the night with a couple of relays.
And it's going to be an absolutely brilliant night of action. Now that 400 free I'm really looking forward to. You've got Ellie Faulkner, Holly Hibbert, both have already got under the time of 4:11.75. Already selected. So this very much a case of bragging rights, I suppose, a chance just to have your say. And so here's where I am in December, match that. It's going to be good. They both swam around about the same time in the heats this morning as well. So it is going to be a thriller.
Well, they've both been in incredible form this week. They both already knew they had the qualification stand in the bank. They knew they essentially could start choosing their plane seats on the plane itself. Extra legroom for a swimmer, I've heard, is always a good choice. But Eleanor Faulkner and Holly Hibbert have been in really, really good form this week. Ellie Faulkner swam a PB in the 200 free. Remember, she's in heavy training. She said to us in the studio on day 2, she did not expect that in the tank whatsoever. And Holly Hibbert went under the qualification standard again, not that she needed to, in the 800 free, the longest race that our women do. They are in such good form. The 400 free could be a really special one today.
And on day 1 as well, Holly Hibbert also got under the consideration time in the 200 freestyle. So if you think that her strengths lie in that gritty endurance event, the 800, yet she's still peaking for the 200.
And she got a gold in the 4x1 relay. She's just a pretty good swimmer.
She's a very good swimmer. She's having a very good meet, and she is on form here. And you can hear in the arena, in the swimming pool behind us, we are about to welcome the first swimmers out. So enough of the 400 free for now. Let's focus on the men's 200-metre individual medley. Our last Commonwealth gold in this one, James Goddard in 2010, and he indeed our only gold medalist. So we're in time for another one, I think. Max Litchfield already selected. What can brother Joe Litchfield do, though?
Yeah, Max Litchfield is injured currently at the moment. Get the feeling he would have probably chosen to swim at this event. He does love swimming in Ponds Forge, his home pool. One of the real poster boys of the Sheffield swim group. His brother Joe will have high hopes of joining him. Tough time that has been set though. And a good competitive field. Fraser Minikin, been around on the national scene for a pretty good while. He's a very, very talented medley swimmer. He has gone 2:02.77 in the past. We'll be looking to get somewhere near that tonight. Ben Harrison there, just 17 years of age, one of the youngest swimmers in the outside lanes. John Britton, 22. And then one of our youngsters in lane 9. Joel Thompson, just 16 years of age. What a moment for him as he swims alongside the likes of Joe Litchfield in this one.
This has been brilliant for our junior swimmers, hasn't it? To be able to be in the chance there just to swim amongst these talented guys. What an opportunity. What a platform. Here it is then, the men's 200-metre individual medley. And for the first time tonight, we will pass to our commentator, Jonathan Bell.
we go, immediately a good start being made in lane 4 from Joe Litchfield of City of Sheffield, of course wanting to join his brother Max on the plane to the Gold Coast next year for the Commonwealth Games. Time early for him of 2:03.2. He has swam before though, the time needed in order to be considered for this event. Just a reminder of that 1:59.76. His PB, 1:59.36, which he did record this season. Decent start on the first 50, but as they go onto the backstroke, beginning to reach his stride, Sam Horrocks, lane 6, City of Manchester.
Yeah, Sam Horrocks certainly starting very, very nicely indeed as they come towards the wall on the backstroke. He's coming underneath our studio here in Ponds Forge, going on really nicely still at this time is the man in lane 4, that's Joe Litchfield. He does lead the way at the halfway point. 57.12 is nice going. He's a strong breaststroker, so he's in a good position here to assert himself on this race. Touching in second place is Martin Walton of the Uni of Stirling. Thomas Dean of Maidenhead in lane 5, not too far away. And the field is starting to shrink, but one thing they're not doing is catching Joe Litchfield. He maintains that lead. He's got a strong freestyle as well. He should have this on lock from this point going forward, but how quick is the time going to be? They're going to reach the wall. Joe Litchfield will turn in first position for home. What's the split? 1:33.24. It could be a close one.
Certainly looks as if it's going to shape up to be that way as well. And just on the breaststroke there, as much as he tried to escape from the attention of those, particularly now on his right-hand side, and you're looking at Thomas Dean in 5, Sam Horrocks in 6, and Martin Walton in 7. They were all being towed along by Joe Litchfield there, but he's now beginning to stretch away from them. And despite the best efforts of Thomas Dean, it will be the City of Sheffield swimmer in towards the wall first. A time just over 2 minutes, 2:0.58 for him. Thomas Dean next to the wall, almost a second later. And in third, fantastic back 50 from Fraser Miniken of Loughborough University. He gets the third fastest time in that A final.
Well, less than a second then for Joe Litchfield. What about that, Steve?
Yeah, a really good race from Joe Litchfield there to take the win. 2:58.
Less than a second though outside that qualification standard he needed. His reaction, we both looked over and watched and just tried to assess that body language. I think there was a sort of element of resignation there of going, I don't think I could have, you know, I gave it my best shot, and that's all they can do in here.
That would be my assumption as well. It was sort of like, well, you know, I gave it a go. Fair enough, it wasn't my night. It was still a really good swim from Joe Litchfield there. 2:58 is very, very decent indeed. He did need essentially a personal best to get that qualification standard. He will be disappointed not to have made that, but still a very good swim for this time of the year, generally speaking. 2 minutes.
So young still though.
Absolutely, we can easily forget this, being the younger brother of Max. Both of them seem to have been around at this sort of level for such a long time. Joe Litchfield still only 19 years of age, and that's nowhere near the peak age sometimes for a medley swimmer. Sometimes they do need to have a little bit of not just extra physical strength, which can help them out in the likes of the freestyle and the breaststroke particularly, but also race experience is something you really need in a medley, maybe more than any other race. And still plenty of time on Joe Litchfield's side, but he will be disappointed not to have quite made the cut tonight.
Yes, he will. But that is the story of the week. We are seeing such fine margins deciding our swimmers' futures here. As we look now at the men's 200-metre individual medley B final lineup coming out. Craig Munden coming in quickest for Loughborough University here, 2:08.28. He swam in the heats. Good heat swim for him. His PB a 2:07.35, so not that far outside it at all, and he's had a very busy meet as well.
Yeah, he really has. Miles Stirk, one of the City of Leeds contingent. Very, very good backstroker is Miles Stirk. Keep an eye on him towards the early stages of this race. Took a gold in his year group at the Summer Championships this year. William Bell is in there as well in lane number 1. Youngster, just 15 years of age. He's made an impression in this competition already in senior finals. So here we go, it's time for our B final in the men's 200 metres individual medley.
Yeah, William Bell in lane 1 has had a fantastic week so far here in Sheffield, pitting his wits against those in the senior categories. The only junior representative going into this B final with his gold medal already sewn up. It's all about now for him just how fast he can go in this 200 IM and perhaps beat his PB from earlier on of 2:10.03, but looking towards the front. And in lane 7, Jacob Jackson, Ellesmere College Titans, the first to turn off the wall after that front 50. Just alongside him, as you'd expect in the early stages, the golden lanes of Craig Munden in 4 and Kevin Wallbank in 5.
Yeah, fairly close start this one, it must be said, all pretty even, and as we did mention, going along very nicely in the outside lane is Miles Sturck in lane number 8. Very, very good backstroker, and he's brought himself into the contention, really. He's going to touch maybe in 3rd, possibly in 4th. He does get 3rd, 59.15, nicely done from Miles Sturck, touching in behind Jacob Jackson in lane 7. Craig Munden still looking strong in lane 4 though, 57.72, away ahead of the rest of the field. He'll be hoping to extend that lead into the breaststroke. Starting to be reined in though on his left shoulder. You can see him just creeping up behind him in lane number 5. That's Kevin Wallbank. Very strong breaststroker, and he's overtaken Munden, and so too in lane 2 is Nathan Wells on the breaststroke as well. Going to be a close one hit as they come into the freestyle, but as they turn for home, it's Wallbank with the advantage.
Absolutely, and Craig Munden, of course, having the lead at the halfway point, a bronze medalist in the British Championships in the 400 IM earlier on this year, but the 200, it's got less time to assert your dominance on those 50 strokes, and that's beginning to tell now. Fantastic swimming, though, in 5 from Kevin Wallbank, his Loughborough University teammate, who really is beginning to plough towards the wall. A little bit of a burst in lane 2 from Nathan Wells, also at Loughborough University. It looks like it will be a Loughborough front 3, spearheaded then by Kevin Wallbank into the wall with a time of 2:04.68, which is significantly off his PB as well. Nathan Wells in 2nd, and Craig Munden does make it a Loughborough front trio, finishing 3rd.
Well, look at that, Loughborough University, a 1-2-3 there in that final. Brilliant swimming, and I think really showing there, Kevin Wallbank, how important it is to have a handy breaststroke in your medley, because he completely changed the nature of that final when he turned onto that 3rd length.
It does make such a difference, it really, really does. And as Jonathan mentioned there, a Loughborough front 3 in that final. 2:04.68 is a nice time for Kevin Wallbank. Big PB as well, worth pointing out. It was 2:06.75 coming into this. His season's best was 2:07, so it's a big, big drop for Kevin Wallbank. He'll be really pleased with that.
PB for Craig Munden as well, 2:07.35 his PB, and a 2:06.26 he comes out with, so great swimming from those Loughborough lads. Clearly a lot of good work happening at Loughborough University in our swimming squads.
Yeah, Nathan Wells, the only one of the top 3 there not to PB in that one, but still only just outside of it. So that was a pretty good swim for Nathan Wells as well. Really good standard. Good to see Miles Sturck as well up in 5th place. Didn't lose it, having swam nicely on the backstroke from the outside lane. Nicely done from the youngster from the city of Leeds.
And so next up then, action coming thick and fast at you. No time to rest here. It's the women's 200-metre butterfly final. Laura Stephens leading the way into this one. Her PB is a 2:10.18. The time she needs is 2:10.19. So she's just 100th outside on her PB. She's got to do it tonight, though, in this final. It doesn't matter what her PB is. It doesn't matter that she's thereabouts. Season best of 2:10.54 as well. She has to do it. She's got to perform tonight. I did hear her coach saying that he's hoping for a 2:08 from Laura Stephens tonight. Let's see what she is capable of, and if she can join Emily Large on the Gold Coast for the 2018 Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, big cheer in the crowd. Lots of Plymouth Leander coaches, fans in tonight, supporting Laura Stephens.
They've been so vocal all week, haven't they, Plymouth Leander, lining the pool here.
Yeah, they really have, and the City of Leeds girls do get a big reception in particular as well. Kira Schlossen just 16 and swimming in lane 5 of a national final. Really one to look out for. She's got a personal best of 2:10.48. But as we so often see with our young swimmers over longer races, we can see some almost silly drops in time. They are capable of it this time of year. So don't be surprised to see a big drop from Kira Schlossen. She might well need to do it if she's to come close to Laura Stephens. And maybe an outside shot of what would be an incredible Commonwealth consideration time for the youngster. Talent wherever you look at it, all over this field. Hannah Miley in 6, Amy Wilmot in 3, two swimmers we've had in the studio this week with us. Rosie Rudin has had a brilliant meet. Qualification standard in the 400 IM for the City of Sheffield swimmer. She does like the flight. Let's see how quickly she can go in this one. It's a stacked field. It should be a cracking race. It's the women's 200 meters butterfly A final.
Be on the plane to Australia for 2018, but this should be a cracking race. And the big question is not just who can get under those times, but can the race itself live up to its own hype, because it really is full of some star-studded names in the English ranks. Turning first, Laura Stephens down the centre for Plymouth Leander. A time earlier in the heats for her of 2:11.71. 1.5 seconds or so off of her PB. She's the one in charge right now, around a length's lead ahead of Kira Schlossen in second.
What a start here from Laura Stephens. She is absolutely gunning for this one. 28.98 over that opening 50. I hope she's not gone out too fast here, but I'm sure she knows what she's got in her locker on that second 100. She now turns at the halfway point. 1:01.63. She's bringing Amy Wilmot and Kiara Schlossen with her though. 1:02.70 for Wilmot. Schlossen also up there, 1:02.93. And it is those centre lanes we've got to keep an eye on here as the real contenders. Only 2 spots available there, we must remind you, for the Commonwealth Games. Just 2 spots to join Emily Large. Right now though, Laura Stephens has stamped her authority over one of them. Can she bring this back though over the final 50, Jonathan?
Well, we're about to find out. Certainly so far she's done all she can do, but can she carry on going in the same vein? That is the big question. Competition beginning to arise from Amy Wilmot now in lane 3, trying to drag herself forward and make sure the gap in front of her and Laura Stephens evaporates. It's going to be a very difficult task indeed. There's around 1.5 body lengths to overturn right now. Also Kira Schlossen caught in the argument for 3rd position, which is not where she'd like to be. She's got Hannah Miley to her right-hand side in lane 6, and also in 8 going decently is Rosie Rudin as well. But coming in towards the wall, Laura Stephens, dominant over the course of the 200 metres, and 2:09.32. You can hear the cheers in the background. You know exactly what they mean. Amy Wilmot in 2nd spot on 2:10.61, and Kira Schlossen, City lead, in 3rd. But the smile and the exhaustion on Laura Stephens' face there for all to see.
I just got goosebumps then. Screams from the Plymouth Leander swimmers lining the pool, and then you look at the joy on Laura Stephens' face. 2:09.32. The time she needed was a 2:10.19. Laura Stephens has done it, but Wilmot just missing out there. I'm sure she won't be too disappointed. She, of course, has had a brilliant meet, but what about Laura Stephens? That was brilliant.
Oh, the emotion on Laura Stephens' face, just looking down her at the moment. It's just a little bit too much to take in for Laura. What a moment it is. The tears are in full flow. What a moment for Laura Stephens, the 18-year-old with a qualification standard time for the 2018 Commonwealth Games in the 200 flight. And you can just see there, Laura, what it means. That's what this Championships has been all about. You mentioned at the very top of the show, we've had highs, we've had lows. That's one of the highs that we've seen this week.
Absolutely, and you know what? She did that the hard way as well. She went out for it. She absolutely flew out. 28.98 over the first 50. She was intent on it. And very much you could see just the legs and arms were beginning to tie up down that final 50, but she held on. She is a strong swimmer. That is absolutely brilliant. 2:09.32 and Commonwealth qualification standards. That is what this meet has been all about, and it's been brilliant to watch it. More of the same, though, coming up as we move through the course of the finals.
Yeah, this is the B final coming up. Amelia Klein's heading the way for Loughborough Uni in this one. Shout out as well, by the way, to Amy Wilmot in that 200 fly A final, only just outside the qualification standard herself. She's already got 2 in both of the medleys. So she might have just said to the selectors, well, it's not a main event, but go on, let me swim it. I'm already there, go on. Maybe just a nudge for them as well.
See how her schedule is, because I mean the 400 AM and the 200 fly, that is a tough schedule on the Gold Coast, but if anyone could do it, I'm sure it's Amy Wilmot. Also good to see Hannah Miley swimming in that one as well. She has had a very busy meet, entering 8 events here, but we're also seeing these juniors here who have entered a lot of events as well, and they're gaining invaluable experience. We did have some tired swims, I thought, this morning in the heats. Just some of these ladies, some of these guys looking a little bit like it's been a long week, but very impressive indeed.
Yeah, absolutely, and we have got some real youngsters in this one. Fleur Lewis is just 14 years of age from Barnet Copthall. Maisie Elliott, the same. Charlotte Robinson also in that age category. Those 3 are used to swimming against each other at this stage. Sophie Freeman in lane 0, the youngest in this race, just 13 years of age. Chance for the youngsters to stake a claim and to shine the light for the youngsters in this country, which I'm sure they're about to do. It's the women's 200 meters butterfly B final.
Well, there are 4 juniors in this B final, 2 of them in 0 and 1, the other 2 in 7 and 8, all gunning for the 3 junior medal positions that are on offer here. And of course, down the centre as well, the seniors are gunning to end their 2017s on a high in this women's 200 butterfly B final. Very tight after the first quarter of this one, but managing to slam their hands onto the wall first on the turn. Caitlin Hubbard in lane 3 of City of Birmingham. Tori Sopp close to her as well, and just to her left in lane 5 is Hatfield's Shannon Stark, who's going along at a decent rate as well. Pretty much level pegging between her and Amelia Kleins of Loughborough, the fastest swimmer from this morning, 2:17.04, the time that she recorded.
Hubbard then in control of this one. Also Tori Sopp making a claim as well over the first 100. Hubbard splits 103.77, Sopp 104.17, and Stott in third 104.92. These are ladies to watch out for, but just watch some of the moves that we made down this third 50. You often see swimmers who like to perhaps just put the hammer down on this third 50 and really make their move here. Still though, Hubbard, wheels not falling off. She is motoring down this third 50. Her PB going in a 2:15.67. Amelia Kleins next to her has a PB of 2:11.46, but at the moment not quite in contention for the top 3 spots here. What will happen down this final 50?
Well, it looks as if in terms of the juniors, of course, one eye on them as well. Sophie Freeman, lane 0 of Colchester, just slightly dropping off a bit, which opens the door for Maisie Elliott, Fleur Lewis and Charlotte Robinson, all to battle it out for the gold, silver and the bronze in that junior category. But out at the front, will there be a revival from those down the heart of the pool? It looks like it's going to be very unlikely due to the fantastic pace of Caitlin Hubbard here in lane 3 from City of Birmingham. She's got this far, she might as well give it all she's got towards the wall. Well, Tori Sopp made it very close indeed towards the end, but Caitlin Hubbard did enough. 2:15.6 the time. Tori Sopp just couldn't in the end get close enough. 2:16.27 the time for the runner-up, and in third, Lucy Thornton of Ealing. 2:16.46.
Top swim there from Caitlin Hubbard of the City of Birmingham. 2:15.6 is a brand new personal best for the youngster coached by Carl Grosvenor at the City of Birmingham swim team. Tori Sott with a nice swim as well, 2:16.27. That's another big dip. And even as we take a look down at the lower ends of the leaderboard, there's Sophie Freeman, the youngest in that race, just 13 years of age, 2:18.90. Another second off the personal best she set this morning, despite finishing in final place. It really is tremendous. That's exactly what this meet's all about.
The juniors are just taking chunks off their time, and believe me, senior swimmers would pay for those sort of PBs when they're barely taking hundredths off, and the juniors are dropping 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 seconds. Oh, it's frustrating for the senior swimmers, but the juniors, wow, what a generation of swimmers we are seeing come through, and these are the exact meets they need. A long course meet like this in December, giving them the chance to step it up amongst international talent as well. Now, coming up, we've got the men's 50 freestyle. I am so excited about this. If it's anything like the 100 free earlier in the week, it is going to be absolutely incredible. That 100 freestyle saw a joint win between David Cumberledge and Jarvis Parkinson from lane 0 and lane 9. I've never seen that before
Still
in
yet to
any
speak to
final.
anyone here who has as well.
It was insane to watch. Cumberledge then, he comes in lane 5. His PB a 22:03. Now that is within the consideration time, but as we said, not swum at an event eligible for selection. He, this evening, has to swim 22:12. Tom Fannon this morning went 22:21. Sorry, 22:41. His PB is 22:21. He is within touching distance of that. What will happen this evening?
Well, if Tom Fannon hits that time, I think the Plymouth Leander lot that have been very vocal inside Ponds Forge throughout the whole course of this week, they might just go over the edge if Tom Fannon hits that time. He's already got great guidance. He's sort of been the protege of one Ben Proud, who's been down at Plymouth Leander. Very, very similar swimmer to Tom Fannon in terms of style. They're both terrific sprinters over the short distance, and I know that Ben has been working with Tom in training for the last couple of years, helping guide him through, and been someone really to look up to. We've seen him already claim a silver medal at the European short course this week over in Copenhagen. What can his young pretender do in lane 4 of this one?
I think Plymouth Leander might just self-combust on poolside here if they have both Laura Stephens and Tom Fannon make a Commonwealth consideration time. So listen out for that explosion if indeed we do see Tom Fannon swim 22:12.
Oh, there he is, looking pretty relaxed and composed. That's Sam Irvine from Loughborough Uni. Alexander Bowen, his Loughborough teammate. There is a big Loughborough contingent in this one. 3 swimmers all going.
Yeah, Alexander Bowen, want to watch 22:60. We are having PBs here within half a second or so. Miles Monroe also, Sam Irvine as well. So as the 100 freestyle went, genuinely a winner could come from anywhere.
Absolutely. Blink and you'll miss it. Men's 50-metre freestyle final.
Well, it's always one of them races, isn't it, that you put a style next to at the start of a swim meet. The 50-metre freestyle as they battle towards the wall. These next 20 seconds or so will absolutely fly by. Down the centre in 4, Thomas Fannon of Plymouth Leander looking very bright indeed. Just to his right-hand side, David Cumberledge. Those two locking horns as they come in towards the wall, but Fannon will have the edge and come in as well on 22.1. It's a PB for Tom Fannon, and right when he needed it as well. David Cumberledge next to the wall on 22.43, and Lewis Burris of Southport completes the fastest 3 with a time of 22.62, but Thomas Fannon takes the men's 50 free.
Well, 200ths was all he needed, 22.10. He sneaks in to that consideration time of 22.12. Tom Fannon well and truly swimming himself into contention now for Commonwealth Games 2018. What a thrilling 50 freestyle. In the end, though, over a 50, compared to the 100, certainly that was actually quite a comfortable victory to an extent.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not often you see swimmers separated by 3/10 in a 50 freestyle. Just shows how good that swim from Tom Fannon really was. Really, really good indeed to dip below that time. The quickest he's ever gone. He's obviously worked really, really hard to get to that desired level, and he has delivered when it mattered the most. Big, big, big time swim from Tom Fannon. I'm sure his brother Robert Fannon, who's about to go in lane 2 of the B final, was watching on and clenching his fist in delight. And we're about to see those guys walk out, and if ever Rob Fannon wanted a little bit of inspiration, I think he's just got it.
I was about to say, boy, oh boy, will he be inspired now. What can he do in the B final of the 50 freestyle? Robert Fannon then, PB of 23.39. He set this morning, he equalled his PB this morning. So he is in PB form here. What can he do?
Lewis Clifford Stevenson was the quickest into this B final. As our swimmers start to make their way out. The two Belgians actually are in this one, the twins, Valentine and Alexei. The Borisov-Lievich twins in lanes 8 and 7. Louis Barker there in the green hat of Millfield, and he's actually having a little bit of a chat with some of our field of play guys down there who are in charge of marshalling the swimmers, getting them to where they need to be and when they need to be. Trust me, a harder job than it sounds when it comes to these swimmers. But she's been having a great time because Valentine and Alexei look absolutely identical. Never mind swimmers looking the same when they've got their caps and their goggles on. Very, very difficult to tell those two apart, actually. Having a wee bit of a joke with that one.
Interesting, the brothers are next to each other as well, lane 8, lane 7. You've got to wonder what the rivalry is like between them as well.
Both swimming the same events. It's quite incredible, actually.
Swimming the same events, they're twins, lanes next to each other. Watch out for fireworks there from the Belgians, lane 8 and lane 7. As we've said before, in a 50 freestyle, indeed in any 50 or 100 event, in a sprint event in the pool, you can expect pretty much anything to happen. Very, very difficult to predict sometimes. What will happen here, though, in the men's 50-meter freestyle B final?
And immediately wasting no time at all in lane 3, Alexander Smith of Woking straight out the water away to batter his arms into the water, but also beginning to propel forward in lane 4 with Lewis Clifford Stevenson of Barking and Dagenham in 6 as well. James Oxborough of Loughborough University trying to leave behind Andrew Roy in 5, coming towards the wall. That's your main battle, and it is James Oxborough that gets it. 22.97 the winning time, the only swimmer in the B final managing to dip below 23 seconds. Lewis Clifford Stevenson then next to touch the wall on 23.16, and just 100th of a second behind him is Alexis Borisov-Lievich. But James Oxborough of Loughborough University is the man out on top.
Yeah, good swim from James Oxborough. Big smile on his face as well. He's pleased with that one. 22.97 for Oxborough. He is capable of just a little bit quicker than that. That's still a very nice swim for him indeed. Lewis Clifford Stevenson in 2nd place there, and Alexei Borisov-Lievich gets himself a 3rd in the B final. Andrew Roy, having swum a personal best this morning, wasn't too far behind it again. In fact, he's just dipped underneath it in 23.18. Good swim from Andrew Roy. Rob Fannon can't quite follow the speed of his slightly older brother, but still time on his side.
Absolutely. Well, what an evening of finals it's been so far. We've seen swimmers dipping under those qualification standards. Joe Litchfield missing out, though, in that 200-metre individual medley. Couldn't quite follow in his brother's footsteps either, but the 200 fly, delighted for Laura Stephens there, because, you know, she went out for it. It was such a gutsy swim, and we've seen a couple of those swims this week where actually swimmers have gone out so hard, and then you can feel, you can hear their muscles giving up on that final 50. But Laura Stephens today just had the endurance to actually motor on through, and it was an amazing swim to see, and made even better by the reaction in here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually got a couple of the Plymouth Leander sort of school next to us on the way into the stands here in Ponds Forge, and let me tell you, they enjoyed that one. Shouldn't need to tell you, but they really, really enjoyed it. Running around, arms in the air, screams, the lot. That meant a lot, not just to Laura Stephens, as we saw with those incredible pitches, but also to all of her coaches and everyone who knows her as well. Really nice moment.
Well, she was gunning for a 2:08 by all accounts, and to go 2:09.32, she's not far off at all, and it's really good to be hitting those sort of targets at this point in the season. Now, we must say that it is early for swimmers to be hitting peaks, but by nature of the Commonwealth Games being in April next year, they are having to treat this as a trials to an extent. They've had to taper for it, and here they are. Unfortunately, though, of course, for Joe Litchfield, not quite able to hit that time of 1:59.76, but a sort of wry smile, a shrug of the shoulders, as if to say, do you know what, I gave that my absolute best and didn't quite get there, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think that's the way he's tried to approach it. As our silver medals are given out to Thomas Dean in the senior category. Reed Jones for juniors, as Plymouth Leander get another chance to give a big cheer. And here will be Joe Litchfield's gold medal. Here it is, about to go around the neck of the man from Sheffield. And the 15-year-old William Bell, already taller than the 19-year-old Joe Litchfield.
Some of these juniors, honestly, the size of them, they are enormous.
And he's about to pick up another medal. He's really done a bit of a sweep in the junior category this year, William Bell. Been absolutely excellent. One name to keep an eye at as the competition grows and grows throughout the coming months and indeed years in the national scene here in particular. But one thing we were talking with James Wilby about this week was how weird a year next year it is for the swimmers. Obviously, they've had to try and give a go at peaking at these National Winter Championships to get the times needed for the Commonwealth Games. And then almost as soon as the Commonwealth Games are over, all thoughts turn to the European Championships in Glasgow. There's two major meets next year that both really mean an awful lot to our swimmers, and it's going to be a very, very difficult year in terms of managing those taper times, managing the training workload, and managing to swim their fastest at these major competitions. It's a very strange year, and all challenges are being set, really. Good luck to the coaches is what we're basically saying there. I know the swimmers are prepared for it. Not really sure if they know entirely what they're going to expect, but it's going to be an interesting one.
It's a very easy thing to get wrong as well, that heavy training block. They'll be working in real volume right now, then tapering off into those big competitions, of which they are having to peak 3 times, and usually in a cycle you peak at the end of each cycle, so September to December, and then January to April, and then
yeah, I mean, historically you've always got the sort of Olympics, World Championships, end of the summer, the whole year builds up.
You never have to peak quite as much, you know, to the same heights, I suppose, as they do this year. And indeed, with the Commonwealth Games in April, it just changes the dynamic slightly. And swimmers, I know, are finding it not difficult, but perhaps slightly challenging to hit the kind of times they're expected to hit right now. They would normally be delighted with these times, but here, it's all about getting qualification standards.
You might already be able to tell the cheers are out in force already for some of our medalists in this one. This is for the women's 200 fly. Maisie Elliott and Kira Schlossen picking up wins in the bronze medals. Kira Schlossen, 16-year-old, picks up a senior medal. Maisie Elliott from City of Leicester, another good youngster at that club, along with William Bell, picks herself up a junior bronze medal as well.
Schlossen was picked out as one of the leaders in that list of contenders for that time, for the qualification standard, but she's 16 years old. I think perhaps this comes a year too soon for her. She's been thereabouts. She is making that step up, She has swum very well this meet, but perhaps just a step too far this time.
And 200 fly as well is an event you're only going to get better at the more physically stronger you get as well. And that's something that will come with time.
Lovely to see Amy Wilmot there, who has met the qualification standard in both the 200-metre individual medley and the 400-metre individual medley, just getting that junior swimmer under her arm and giving her a hug. It's brilliant to see support coming from the senior swimmers to these junior swimmers, because of course these seniors were once 13, 14, 15 coming through the ranks themselves. They know exactly what these swimmers are going through.
And a big smile on the face of Barnet Cocktail's Fleur Lewis as well, as she picks up the gold medal in the junior category. There's some really, really young swimmers in the junior category as well, and it's safe to say both of our girls there with their trophies looking pleased as punch.
I bet Laura Stephens is absolutely delighted. Brilliant to see. What a night for Plymouth Leander as well, because Tom Fannon coming up next, and coming up shortly in his victory ceremony, he also hit that qualification standard.
Yeah, he did indeed. Time to look ahead though to some more swimming. This is the start list for the women's 50 metres backstroke. Phoebe Lendeyu was quickest in qualification this morning for this one. Swimmer from Newcastle. Lauren Quigley from the city of Liverpool has been well known on the national scene for a long time. She's very decent, in particular over the shorter distance. So too Anna Main of Woking, always there or thereabouts in a sprint.
Lauren Quigley seems like she's been around for such a long time, still so young though, only 22, but she is mighty quick over a 50-metre event. 27.69 her PB, by and large the fastest PB here. She's found 29.21 in the heats. She's got a season's best, however, of 28.49, indicating perhaps more in the locker there, while Phoebe Lendeyu PB'd this morning, as you said, to get through into tonight's final. She's in PB form, but Lauren Quigley with much more in the tank.
Yeah, worth keeping an eye on Molly Allen as well. They've seen the left side of your shot in lane number 6. Youngster from Loughborough University now. She was at the city of Peterborough, and she's been going really, really nicely in this competition, sort of making the step up from regularly competing at a very high level in the juniors to then having that awkward transition into the lower ends of the seniors. She's got to get used to being beat again, but she's getting quicker and quicker, and that's the main thing. Anna Main is going to be tough to stop over 50 metres.
In a sense, you've got to go from being a big fish in a small pond to a small fish in a big pond, but it's the necessary steps that these juniors, these younger swimmers have got to make to step it up onto the international scene as well.
Chloe Golding's had a brilliant meet in the backstroke, already secured 2 qualification standards. There is no qualification standard for the 50 back, but good performance wouldn't exactly go amiss. Here it is then, it's the 50 metres backstroke final.
Off they go more or less simultaneously, particularly those in the centre, bringing the head out of the water and beginning to immediately try and drag themselves forward. Lane 5, Lauren Quigley, City of Liverpool. Bright start from her, half a body length lead or so ahead of Phoebe Lendeyu of Newcastle, whose PB earlier of 29.17. Got it into that fastest lane. It's very tight coming in towards the wall between the rest of the pool, but you can see peeking in front still Lauren Quigley. She's going to hold on as well. 28.86. The superior time in that A final. Anna Main next to the wall at 29.17. And Phoebe Lendeyu of Newcastle is in third, 29.24. Hugs all round then. Lauren Quigley, City of Liverpool, big smile on her face. She wins the A final.
Well, she led pretty much from start to finish there. Lauren Quigley from the City of Liverpool. A brilliant swim, so powerful over the short distance. 28.86, her winning time. Anna Main, we said she'd be difficult to stop. Only one swimmer could stop her. 29.17 for the Woking swimmer. Phoebe Lendeyu, she went in fastest, she comes out third, but I think she'll be pretty happy with that. 29.24 just a few hundredths outside the time she set this morning. So she is in good form indeed. Now we take a look at the start list for our next event. That is the women's 50-metre backstroke B final.
Yeah, Pia Murray was quickest through in the morning. Looked very, very good as well, did Pia Murray. In a good time, 30.04. Actually swimming the exact same time as Jessica Shaw in lane 5. Jessica Shaw PBing with that. Pia Murray can go a wee bit quicker. Martha Dooley was good this morning as well. She's swimming in lane 3, got 30.06. So again, all the swimmers in the main 3 lanes there within 0.02 of a second of each other this morning. So we're hoping for another very close race. I don't think we're going to be let down in that regard.
I don't think so either. Pia Murray and Martha Dooley both with a sub-30 performance in the tank. Jessica Shaw PB'd this morning to make it in second fastest. Well, joint fastest really, 30.04 with Pia Murray. Let's just see what happens here. Pia Murray, Martha Dooley, both looking very handy indeed. These swimmers, though, have had busy meets. Caitlin Bergen certainly had a big meet. We've seen her in a number of swims, and she likes to go out very fast over the opening 50 or 100 of an event. We've seen her do that. Not necessarily to her advantage sometimes, because the wheels do tend to come off in the second half of the race, but that perhaps indicates that she's a fast twitch swimmer. She's got to get out there and she's got to sprint. So she's come through in lane 0, but she's got a PB of 29.90. So what is she capable of here? It's around 30.34 this morning, but who knows?
Yeah, she did have a very good meet here last year at the Winter Championships, when it was, of course, a short course event. She won the gold in the 100 metres backstroke. So she does enjoy being on her back, does Caitlin Bergen. It's Megan Maybanks of Domo Atlantis. She swam this event at the Summer Championships a couple of years ago in the 15 years category. It has been historically a pretty solid backstroke swimmer as the years have progressed. There's Henry Osrin from Plymouth Leander. They are very vocal at Plymouth Lock this week.
Huge cheers there. I hope you couldn't somehow pick that up from the atmosphere in here, but Plymouth Leander are very vocal indeed.
They're not always this loud.
But they're having a brilliant meet though, and they're having a good night indeed, with 2 of their swimmers already hitting qualification standards for the Commonwealth Games. So buoyed indeed by their success and ready for more. Here is then the women's 50-metre backstroke B final.
And away we go in the B final, and it's full of junior talent, it has to be said. Just the one junior representative in the A final, that was Mimi Morley-Izzet, who featured in lane 8 for City of Oxford, but there was a whole host of junior swimmers battling away for a spot on the podium in that category here in the B final. Who will it be that comes out on top? No one at all making a burst towards the front just yet, despite all of their best efforts. It's going to be so close to call. In they come, and it is Honey Osrin in lane 2 from Plymouth Leander. What a week they've been having. She's the one that picks up first position, 29.75, 0.04 of a second quicker than that of Martha Dooley of Colchester. And it's Megan Maybanks in third, 29.84, your front 4, all touching in inside 30 seconds.
Well, goodness me, Plymouth Leander are having such a good evening, aren't they? And I'll tell you what, arms are in the air on poolside as well. We've got celebrations all over the place here. Honey Osrin takes that one, and I looked at the pool then coming in, a blanket finish, could have gone anywhere. Honey Osrin takes it by 0.04 from Martha Dooley of Colchester, 29.79. The Colchester swimmers' time. Megan Maybanks, 29.84. I mean, 900 separates the podium. That is 50-metre backstroke swimming. Brilliant to see, but Plymouth Leander getting another victory under their belts this evening.
Yeah, they're having a brilliant time. But we're hoping, by the way, to be able to speak to Laura Stephens and Tom Fannon, both of the Plymouth Leander qualification standard hitters tonight. Hopefully they're going to be able to join us in the studio and talk us through their, well, crazed emotions right at this moment. I can only imagine, but we'll find out from the horse's mouth, as it were, hopefully very, very soon for you.
Exciting event coming up then. It's the men's 200-metre backstroke, already selected on the way to Australia in this event. He missed out in the 100 earlier in the week, but in this one, it's all sewn up. He'll be there racing the 200-metre backstroke. His PB 156.89. He's here in lane 3. The qualification standard needed 158.67, so he's well inside it with his PB. Who will be joining him? Dan Cross qualified fastest this morning with a 159.96. Not outside his PB's a 159.34. He will have to swim the best 200-metre backstroke of his life to get out to the Commonwealth Games, but that's what we're asking of these swimmers at this meet.
It certainly is. Nick Piles one to watch out for as well in lane 5. He took the silver in the Summer Nationals here in the summer in this pool, so he does enjoy swimming at Ponds Forge. PB this morning, he'll be looking to dip under the 2-minute barrier for the very first time. He was just 0.08 of a second away from doing just that this morning.
Brodie Williams also one to watch. He came in on a 2:01.14. By virtue of that, he's in lane 2, but don't let that fool you. He's got a PB of 159.68, which is a second outside the qualification standard needed. Again, he'll have to swim the absolute best time of his life, but he's young. He's here to do that. From Millfield School and coached by former Olympian Ewan Dale.
Speaking of former Olympian coaches, Mel Marshall is the, well, in control of Elliot Clogg in lane number 1. Here is Nick Pyle, mentioned him PBing this morning. And here he comes, Luke Greenbank, also coached by Mel Marshall, now at Loughborough University, looking very, very relaxed. He knows he doesn't necessarily have to worry about this event. He won't like being beaten in a 200-metre backstroke, make absolutely no mistake about that. But Luke Greenbank knows he comes in with a little bit of pressure off his shoulders. Joseph Hume, we saw there walking out. He has potential in this event, Lauren.
Big time. He actually has a PB that is 400ths within the Commonwealth consideration time. 158.63 he's swum. That is his season's best as well. If he can reproduce what he's already done this season, he will be on that plane, potentially, given selectors' decisions. He'll put himself in the mix for selection. So eyes on lane 6, lane 4, lane 2, lane 5. I mean, just keep your eyes on the pool, really. You never know what's going to happen with these guys. PBs all over the place.
Jacob Greenough, not his typical event. He tends to prefer the medley in lane 0. He did PB this morning in this event, 2:03.12. Lander Hendricks, the Belgian, completes the field in the other outside lane. Should be another fine race, this one. Let's hand you over to Jonathan Bell for the final of the men's 200 metres backstroke.
It just shows you how close a pool this is going to be over the course of the next 200 metres. The fact that we had the British Championship gold medalist from 2017, Brodie Williams, in lane 2 for Millfield. His time earlier today, just over 2 minutes, 2:01.14. Fastest of which Daniel Cross of Loughborough, marginally under 2 minutes on 159.96. We expect all of these swimmers to go even faster than the heats in pursuit of that first position here in this A final, and it's fantastic stuff from Daniel Cross so far from Loughborough University, coming off the wall there after 50 metres, hung under the water for so long and managing to keep that first position as well. He's the man with his nose in front.
Yes, terrific underwater section there from Daniel Cross in lane 4. Just coming through nicely now there is Luke Greenbank. Strong second 50 there. He turns first, 57.81. Cross second, 58.02. Daniel Cross, though, making the most of about 14 metres of the 15 metres allowed underwater. Any junior swimmers watching this, that is how you swim an underwater section. So strong. You see the likes of Mike Phelps and Lochte both doing the same, really using those underwater sections to their advantage if they've got that in their locker. Turning now, Luke Greenbank still marginally ahead. Brodie Williams has moved up into the mix. Cross still in there with a shout. Look at the time as well.
Yeah, Brodie Williams beginning to try and chances are now right when it matters as well. Around a length or so behind Luke Greenbank, still situated in first position, the man in lane 3. In 4, Daniel Cross trying to progress further up as well. But will Brodie Williams be able to dampen the Loughborough University party here as they come in towards the dying embers? It is all Luke Greenbank's to lose, and lose he will not. Touching in first on 1:58.32. Next in, Daniel Cross completes the Loughborough University 1-2 with his time of 1:58.98. Brodie Williams having to settle for third, but the front 3 all managing to dip under 2 minutes.
I think it's safe to say Luke Greenbank is in pretty good form, dipping under the consideration time. Not that he needed to. 1:58.32 is a brilliant swim this time of year for Luke Greenbank. As we mentioned, different swimmers have very different approaches to this event. Luke Greenbank wouldn't have needed to taper and really aim to properly peak, so that under training times is very, very nice indeed. Daniel Cross just missing out. 1:58.98 is a very good swim, first time ever underneath 1:59, and by quite a long way, but not quite enough.
PBs there for both Daniel Cross and Brodie Williams, but like you said, not enough for that Commonwealth qualification standard, showing just how tough it truly is. 1:58.98 for Cross, Brodie Williams 1:59.29.
Yeah, really, really completely agree with you. It's a tough, tough race anyway, the 200-metre backstroke. Qualification standard was very, very quick. Luke Greenbank is a very, very good backstroker, and he's going to be right up there. Don't forget, these qualification standards were set based on medal times. They're not taking any passengers. Team England out to the Gold Coast. They are in it, and they are in it to win it. So all of our swimmers who do get selected based on their times, if they can replicate them over in Australia, they will have a very, very good chance of picking up quite a lot of medals, and Luke Greenbank is certainly going to be one of our main hopes. Good to see Jane Elliott still in relatively high spirits. Big wave to the crowd there. He's had a really tough week.
He has. That 1500 metre on day 3 was sobering to watch. He tried his hardest. The entire pool got behind him, but in the end he was outside the consideration time by around 3.5, 4 seconds.
And he's only just missed out on the 200 and the 400. 400 was very close in particular.
He's just been on the wrong side of luck this week, and that would be devastating, but good to see him back, a smile to the crowd and a wave as well. He still wants to swim, he still wants to race, and that says quite a lot. And do you know, he's here in lane 4. You never know what might happen in the 200 metre backstroke. No. And Joe Elliott giving himself a chance here. PB of 2:01.35, swam a 2:03.49 this morning.
It would have to be a real personal best for Jay Elliott if he is to dip under the qualification standard. He's never been under 2 minutes in the 200 backstroke. It's not his main event. He does like swimming the 200 backstroke, that's why he is swimming it, but it isn't his main event. He's much more of a freestyler.
200's a splash and dash compared to a 1500, isn't it, really? Here we go then. This is the men's 200 metre backstroke B final with your commentator, Jonathan Bell.
Just on your screen there, as that race started, lane 0, Jacob Davies of City of Birmingham, the only junior representative of this B final. He's got his gold medal already sewn up due to that heat time earlier of 2:07.24, but he'll be pitting his wits now along with the seniors and trying to progress even further in the B final right now. In lane 2, Perry Gardner, Plymouth Leander, a good start for him. Of course, Plymouth tonight really riding on quite a wave, and he's looking to continue that sort of momentum here as well. Tight in the central lanes early on 2, Jay Lelliott in 4, Jack Shillinglaw in 5. Incidentally, Jay Lelliott, the City of Sheffield swimmer, in 4. It's just 200ths of a second of reaching the A final earlier on today. But you can see in lane 2, Perry Gardner of Plymouth Leander going all out here and leaving everything in the pool.
How inspired must the Plymouth Leander swimmers be? Look at this. He's going out for this one, a PB of 2:01.22. He came in this morning on a 2:05.73, but has swum a season's best around the 2:01.38 mark. So he's got much more in the locker compared to the 2:05 he swam just to qualify this morning. Right now, he is gone for this one. Jay Lelliott's moved up into second place, 60.67 at the turn. Perry Gardner splitting the 158.32. What will happen down this final 50 metres after such a fast start? Perry Gardner then in control at the moment.
Well, the British champion in the 50 backstroke this year, and also the 100 back silver medalist as well earlier on in 2017, Perry Gardner, and he's looking to show that he can do it over the 200 distance as well, and he's definitely not failing right now as well. For Jay Lelliott, beginning to slightly crank up the gears here, but is that a bit too late? And also keep an eye on 7. Craig McNally of City of Glasgow has found a bit of inspiration out of absolutely nowhere, and in fact, he might actually get to the wall first as well. Goodness me, Craig McNally with an extraordinary back 50 to take that one right from under the nose of Perry Gardner, who seemed to have done absolutely everything right in that race. 2:02.13 the winning time, with Perry Gardner next in, and Jay Lelliott does complete the fastest 3, and goodness me, there were a fast 3 as well. 2:03.25 for the City of Sheffield swimmer, but Craig McNally, wow.
Well, wow's the word. That was a ridiculous back 50 from Craig McNally.
I didn't even see him at the turn after 150 metres. Suddenly, from nowhere, he came powering down that final 30 metres or so to touch in first, just touching out Perry Gardner, who, do you know, he was right on that lane rope down that final 50. That could have hampered him, and that usually when swimmers get tired, that's what happens. They just start to gravitate towards that lane rope, and on backstroke that can be pretty costly. Perry Gardner did look tired there, but you know, I admire a swimmer, any swimmer, who goes out for it and gives it a gutsy effort from the off, and that's exactly what Perry Gardner did there.
I mean, Craig McNally's got plenty of pedigree in the 200-metre backstroke. Once upon a time, 1:55.67 was the time he swam in the 200 back, which obviously is tremendously quick. He was the British champion in 2015. But not quite hitting the heights as of now. His season's best hasn't gone underneath 2 minutes, so it's been something of a disappointing season time-wise for Craig McNally, but he'll be pleased to pick up the win there, and he will have known that he did have that in his locker heading into the final 30 metres. He felt good and was like, you know what, let's go for it, and it was quick in the final 30 metres.
And you know, a 1:55 would be well inside of that consideration time he needs, but Craig McNally not quite in that shape coming into this year, and indeed into 2018 for the Commonwealth Games as well. But we will we'll see for the future. He's still relatively young, so we'll see what happens. Coming up, we have the women's 400-metre freestyle final, though. That is going to be absolutely brilliant. You've got the likes of Holly Hibbert and Ellie Faulkner, both of whom are in PB hitting form here. They're both gunning for it, and that will be one of the tussles we see next year on the Gold Coast. Tonight, it's going to be all about bragging rights, and it's going to be an almighty battle between the two of them.
Yeah, it certainly will. And a nice moment here for our medalists in the men's 50 Nice moment for Lewis Barris there, collecting the senior bronze. Jake Moxham winning the junior bronze medal. David Cumberledge has to do some real ducking down there. He's a big, big man, is David Cumberledge. Gets his senior silver medal. He's one of the swimmers who tied for first in the 100-metre free.
Still not quite over that race. It was just thrilling, so exciting.
Nice.
And Cumberledge, yeah.
Reed Jones as well to pick up the silver in the junior for Plymouth Leander once again. But there's the moment. Tom Fannon has done it. He has set a brand new personal best. Brand new best ever time for Tom Fannon. And he is looking fit and ready should he get the call for Australia.
He will. He should be joining Ben Proud out there on the Gold Coast in that 50 freestyle.
And that would be a really special moment for those two as well. As I mentioned during the race a little bit earlier on, Tom Fannon and Ben Proud know each other very, very well indeed. They're very used to training with each other down at Plymouth Leander. Indeed, Tom Fannon's sort of been Ben Proud's protege really over the last couple of years, as Ben Proud has made that step up to Olympic and World Championship level. Tom Fannon, he could be very much the next Ben Proud. It was a super swim. And all things being well, he'll be hoping to join Ben on the Gold Coast in 2018. And what a 53 that could be.
Of course, the swimmers swimming tonight and indeed throughout the week, while they've hit consideration times, that doesn't automatically book them a place. These aren't trials, it's a National Winter Championship, and it's just a chance for them to just show what they're capable of. The selection will be made in the coming weeks, the team announced soon, very soon. We're not sure when, but it will be announced in the few weeks' time. And then, of course, the preparations will begin in earnest for the Gold Coast next year. But as I'm sure you've seen as we've moved through the course of the evening, it's not just about those top swimmers here. It's about a bit of development as well, and the chance for some of our junior swimmers, the next generation, the rising stars, to mix amongst some of the best in the world.
And one of the things that's so nice about that is they get the medals at the same time as well. Junior and senior stood next to each other on the podium. You can see the present, you can also see the future.
How inspiring is that for a junior, you know, a 13, 14, 15-year-old to stand next to the likes of Amy Wilmot, Hannah Miley, whoever you want to think about. It's inspiring. And here, just to put the National Winter Championships into context, it's usually a splash and dash. It's a short course meet at the end of what is the first cycle of training for these swimmers. But here, it's all a bit serious. There are no Santa hats, there's no Christmas decorations.
There usually is, by the way.
It's all a bit serious, and the pressure in here is high. Emotions are running high. Every swimmer we've had in here in the studio has said that it's very emotional down on poolside because swimmers are basically giving absolutely everything. The hours of training they've put in are coming to fruition here, and they're either on the right side of those times, on the right side of luck, or just outside them, and it's tough out there. And
we have seen both of those instances as well. We have seen swimmers miss out by hundredths of a second on Commonwealth consideration times. The guy we just saw in the pool just a few moments ago, Jay Elliott, was guilty of, well, victim of that rather than being guilty of it, probably best to say. In the 400 freestyle, he was ever so close. James Wilby on the first day also fell foul of 100 seconds. Came back nicely in the day after, but that first night stung quite a lot for James Wilby, and it's tough. But also at the same time, it's the great thing about these championships this year is that they're giving these swimmers the chance to have the feeling of a trial-like event in the winter. It's something that's very, very different. We've mentioned how next year is a very different year for swimming with the nature of the international calendar, and it's going to prepare them pretty well.
It is indeed. Those Commonwealth Games are going to be fascinating. We aren't seeing them in action too much this evening, but throughout the week we've had some stunning performances from HPC Ontario, coming all the way from Canada. Taylor Ruck being one of them. We had some highlights shown you earlier. Taylor Ruck was truly spectacular last night, and just 17 years old as well. So she will certainly be one to watch in the future.
What's been your highlight of the week, would you say, Laura?
Oh.
And I'm really putting you on the spot there, and we're still yet to see some potential highlights this week, don't forget, but there has been some wonderful moments.
Yeah, just a few events to go. So the women's 400 free could be brilliant, but I've got to say, my highlight, can I say two? I'm saying two.
You've gone for it.
The men's 100 freestyle, that was stunning. I've never seen anything like that, to have joint winners from lane 0 and lane 9. Up here in the studio before, we were saying, we can't predict this. We have no idea where the winner will come from here. And I mean, it went to form as we predicted, in a sense that it was completely unpredictable. Another highlight, I think, was the 400 IM, seeing 3 ladies going under that qualification time needed, and the emotions afterwards as well. I think sometimes at domestic meets, it's all a bit of a process and just a necessary hoop to jump through. But here we're seeing swimmers who are putting their careers on the line to get these times, who are really absolutely going for it and just laying themselves out there and getting it.
Yeah, you've sort of stolen my one. I was going to talk about the 400 IM as well, because that was just such a wonderful moment. You know, I've been here a lot at Ponds Forge over the last few years. It's almost become a second home for me as a swimming commentator and presenter. And sometimes when you come here this often, you get very used to seeing certain people, and the likes of Ellie Faulkner and Rosie Rudin, they're here every single day training at Ponds Forge. And what a lovely moment it was when, waiting for Rosie Rudin, she got out of the pool, there was Ellie Faulkner waiting in the wings with open arms just to say a huge congratulations. It was a lovely emotional moment, and if I had to pick a favourite, that would be it. In terms of the races, it's really tough to disagree with your choice. The 100 free was truly, truly majestic. Really, really was.
Of course, at these domestic meets as well, these swimmers know each other so well, whether they're teammates, whether their clubs are close to each other and perhaps they race regionals and counties together. These swimmers know each other so, so well. They race against each other a lot, and you can tell that. They are the fiercest of rivals in the water, but off the water, very much friends and supportive.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong, we're not portraying this swim meet as some Garden of Eden where everyone's pally and friends and best of pals, but there really is a really nice family feel, especially when everyone comes to Ponds Forge. It does seem to be an element of familiarity, and it is really, really nice to see. And what we alluded to earlier with the junior and senior medals, Lauren Quigley there, been there and done it on the national level multiple times. She gets to share the moment with our junior gold medalist there as well, which is lovely to see. Here we take a start list then at this race. Laura's been really excited about this the entire night. So, Laura, we'll let you talk this one through. We're really looking forward to seeing Holly Hibbett in particular.
Holly Hibbett on form here. She hit the qualification standard in the 200 free earlier in the week. She has the ability to PB here. She didn't need to, but she also went under the consideration time for the 800 free, the event she's already been selected for the Commonwealth Games. So she's in form, we know that. Ellie Faulkner as well. Steve, you said earlier she came into the studio and said that she has been in heavy training and she wasn't expecting at all to swim the way she did on day one in that 200 free. 1:56.67, dipping under her time she'd set before of 1:57.04. So we're not talking a couple of hundredths PB here. We're talking almost half a second, and that is well within the consideration time as well. Yeah, basically really, what I'm saying is they're both in stunning form here.
And almost surprisingly so. I mean, Ellie Faulkner admitted as much when she spoke to us in the studio on day two. She's not been expecting to hit the times that she's been hitting. She did all right in the 100 freestyle as well. This is much more her sort of length in terms of her second event. She is very much a 200 freestyle specialist, but she prefers the longer to the shorter when it's 400 versus 100. Keep an eye out on Hannah Miley as well, swimming in lane 2 in her final, and at long last, her final event at these championships. But there is Holly Hibbett, one of the stars, not only of the present, but also of the future. Should be a really, really good 2018 for Holly Hibbett, all things being well. Ellie Faulkner there making her way out. Leah Crisp in her Parker jacket, no idea how she's surviving in that kind of clothing in this kind of heat. It's very, very warm in Ponds Forge. And here is Hannah Miley. Now, we spoke to Hannah Miley off air after we'd had her interview yesterday, Laura, and it was lovely to see, actually. We had a real frank chat with Hannah about what she's been expecting at this meet, and she's swum so many different events, apart from her one real speciality event, the 400 IM, and she basically did imply that she came here to really deliberately give herself a massive challenge. And we asked her, what events are you swimming tomorrow? She said the 200 fly and the 400 freestyle. I called her a psychopath, and she said, I don't necessarily disagree. She really is going for it.
It is bonkers what she's doing. To have on day 5 2 of the hardest events to swim in a pool, it is bonkers. Do you know what was fascinating for me speaking to Hannah is that at the grand old age of 28, she's here to experiment. She's here to work on going out a bit harder, coming back stronger, working a third 50. She's here to try events she's not done before, and that's fascinating. So what will she do here? Here it is then, long awaited, women's 400-metre freestyle A final.
And away we go. A lot of attention on this women's 400-metre freestyle. It was so interesting this morning to see Eleanor Faulkner in lane 5, City of Sheffield. She was going in the penultimate heat, and it looked so easy for her. Not a very competitive pool at all. There was a few pull-outs as well in lanes either side of her prior to the race. And so she wasn't really tested in that, but she still managed to get the second fastest time coming into this final of 4:14.34. 600ths of a second quicker than her, though, was Holly Hibbert of Stockport Metro, and these two now directly locking horns in the pool over the course of the next 400 metres, and immediately those two are the ones that are rising towards the top of the pool. Everyone else pretty coy right now, no one making the dart to join them towards the front. Very even stuff after the first quarter, but it's no surprise at all that up there it's Eleanor Faulkner and Holly Hibbert.
Hibbert this morning, she swam a controlled heat. She went out relatively slowly but came back quickly. She's clearly trying something new here. We know she's got that kind of endurance based on her ability to swim 800s. She's going in lane 4 by virtue of 600ths though. Ellie Faulkner very much matching Holly Hibbert. PB wise, Holly Hibbert bests Faulkner 4:06.37 and Faulkner 4:07.25. Holly Hibbert has swum that 4:06.37 this season, so very much in form, but at the moment she's being led by Ellie Faulkner. This is going to be quite the matchup here. Of course, beyond this we must look to 3rd, 4th, 5th. Alice Deering of Loughborough University currently sitting in 3rd, and Leah Crisp in 4th. This one very much going to form in terms of those centre 4 lanes being the quickest, but still pretty close. Don't forget the consideration time needed, 4:11.75. Alice Deering has swum a 4:11.35. If she is in that sort of form, who knows what will happen, but her season's best, only a 4:14.09. Not sure if she's capable of pulling a 4:11 out of the bag, and certainly she will have to stick with the likes of Ellie Faulkner and Holly Hibbert to do so. Also going well, keep your eye on Rachel Bethel as well, down in lane 0. That red hat just creeping through into about 5th place at the moment.
Yeah, Holly Hibbert is the British champion coming in to this race, and Eleanor Faulkner getting bronze in an event back in April this year. You can see the slim margins between the two right now, around half a length or so lead from Eleanor Faulkner, who is quite clear and is wanting to send out a message of intent to Holly Hibbert, that she is going to take this one by the scruff of the neck and that the final is going to be hers. And of course it's always healthy competition as well, regardless of who comes out on top out of these two. They are both pushing each other all the way for a faster time that they can possibly muster, and that can only be good from a team sense.
Just noticed Holly Hibbert turning on the back burners. That leg kick's just got that little bit stronger. Faulkner though still with a half body length or so advantage here. Not much to split them, less than 2/10 at the wall. Ellie Faulkner though, she is looking so strong. That's one thing I noticed this morning, is just how strong and dynamic she's looking through the water. Holly Hibbert though with a handy underwater there just brings her into contention down this final length of the women's 400 free.
Well, it all boils down to this, and it's still the same sort of margin that we've been talking about all the way through this final so far. What has Holly Hibbert got left in the tank? We mentioned how conservative she was in the heats this morning. Is it the same sort of tactic here, or has she already gone a little bit too much? Eleanor Faulkner, can she hang on in there? She's got to, really. It's going to be so close towards the wall, but the city of Sheffield swimmer manages to hang on in a home pool by 0.3 of a second. Both of them doing tremendously well with the times. Eleanor Faulkner in on 4:06.9, which is a new PB as well. What a time to get it. Holly Hibbert 4:07.2. Those two well ahead of everybody else. And good to see the embrace between the two as well at the finish. Alice Deering of Loughborough University then, she's the one that just pips Leah Crisp to the third position, but it was all about that duel down the centre. It didn't disappoint, did it? Eleanor Faulkner pushed all the way, pushed to a new PB and getting first.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that race, because you may well be seeing it again in 2018 on the international stage. That was stunning from Ellie Faulkner, and pretty much just as from Holly Hibbert, only just behind ultimately for Holly Hibbert. 4:06.9 was the winning time, just 0.3 behind was Holly Hibbert. Super, super swims indeed. These girls have really, really delivered this week, and that was another example of that.
And hats off to Alice Deering as well in lane 3. 4:13.77. She didn't get quite near that consideration time needed, but a season's best. So clearly doing her bit there in that final, chasing down Faulkner and Hibbert. But that battle between them just drew them away from the rest of the field. That was as good as I'd hoped for.
Yeah, really, really nice indeed from Ellie Faulkner and Holly Hibbert. Alice Deering and Leah Crisp, pretty good swims as well from them. Follow that, girls, in the B final. That was some race in the A. And as we mentioned, Holly Hibbert been so good this year, particularly in the 800 freestyle. She's very good over 400 as well. British champion this year. But Ellie Faulkner gets one over. Should be a really, really fascinating battle that next year. Already excited, already.
That was a brilliant race, a brilliant 400 freestyle, exactly how that kind of event plays out. A bit of tit for tat, a bit of cat and mouse, and then all hell for leather down that final 50. Brilliant stuff. Let's hope for more of the same here. Millie Emmons qualifying fastest for the B final for the city of Cambridge. 4:25.29 she swam this morning. Not altogether outside her PB of 4:24.57, so she's thereabouts. Caitlin Mackay second, 4:26.66. Freya Colbert coming out now as well in lane 6 from Nova Centurion. Her PB of 4:24.1. So she's certainly got more in the tank than the 4:27 she qualified in.
Yeah, Freya Colbert being one of the star juniors of this meet. Still only 13 years old. And what you haven't really been able to appreciate is just how tall Freya Colbert is. Didn't really see it on that shot there with the officials sat down, but if she manages to get herself onto the podium, you'll notice it. She is very, very tall. Part of what makes her such a very talented freestyler. Predominantly over the shorter distances, but she has gone well over this distance in the past. Can she topple the likes of Millie Emmons and Caitlin Mackay in the middle lanes? Should be another good race. It's our final individual race of the meet, and it's the women's 400 meters freestyle B final.
In that A final, it's a lot more about the juniors and the progressing English talent coming through the system at the moment in this B final, and there's still medals to be won in that respect. Just the one junior taking part in the A final, Michaela Glenister of City of Leicester, and there's quite a few here, 4 in total, in pursuit of a podium spot in that respect. Fastest heat time earlier on today, recorded by Millie Emmons of City of Cambridge, a season's best of 4:25.29. And it's pretty even with her, and around 4 or 5 others, very early stages coming towards the quarter stage.
Safira Gabani has had a good start from lane 1. That red hat, just showing herself on that first 50. She went out very hard this morning as well, so just trying to control things at the moment. 4:27.53, she PB'd this morning, in fact. At the moment, though, it is the lady next to her, Griffiths, who is coming through here, touching first of that 100, splits 102.35. Molly Wright 102.65. A number of ladies on the 102 mark. Looking quite evenly matched at the moment as they come down this, the third length. And of course these swimmers are just biding their time, waiting for the moment to strike, the moment to make their moves. You either go out hard, you come through in the middle 200, perhaps even the middle 100. Now you'll start to see things change. Molly Wright, Phoebe Griffiths, both pushing on up there, and also keep your eye on lane 4, of course, Millie Emmons. She's qualified fastest, and she's beginning to show exactly why, making a few moves there in the centre of the pool. Also, lane 8 and lane 7 too. Anderson and Samson up there.
Yeah, a fascinating first half to this B final. A bit like a long-distance cycling race with the lead at the front changing so often at the front, but this time beginning to cement that position into Phoebe Griffiths of Ellesmere College Titans, trying to challenge her on the far side. Rachel Anderson of Millfield going in 8. Just to her right as well is Amelia Sansom of Wickham District, who was sniffing around that sort of position early on, and she's trying to regain that sort of pace and control once more. And also not forgetting in 0, Molly Wright of Nova Centurion, who is currently in second position, poised just 0.2 of a second on that turn behind Phoebe Griffiths. And it's going to be very interesting to see here if this is a case of the central lanes just holding back and waiting for a late burst, or if this is just not going right for them right now, or Phoebe Griffiths has definitely put a bit of a spanner in the works in lane 2, the Ellesmere swimmer, because there's quite a bit of a void between her and those in the middle lane. Still ticking along nicely though, Rachel Anderson in lane 8 of Millfield, and it looks as if right now with 100 to go, it's going to be her and Phoebe Griffiths, the ones to watch and the ones battling for first.
Anderson, they're moving into the lead here. Her PB coming in a 4:18.95. So we cannot take it at face value that she's qualified in lane 8, one of the slowest in the heat, with a 4:27.85. 4:18.95. She's got that in her locker, and that this season as well. So at the moment, Anderson, Griffiths and Wright all in with a chance here. Wright's PB also a 4:18.30. Anderson, though, very much in control. That green hat at the top of your screen. She's coached by Ewan Dale, a man who knows how to win medals on international level. What can she do down this final 30 metres or so?
Well, the season's best this morning for Rachel Anderson of 4:27.85, but a PB 4:18.95 would have not seen her out of place had she made the A final, and she's beginning to show that dogged determination with 10 metres to go to stick out in there and make sure that Phoebe Griffiths doesn't have one last sting in the tail. And Rachel Anderson, ultimately the one reigning supreme, just what the 400 free is about, timing it right towards the end, and she certainly did that to a T. 4:25.4 then, the superior time. Phoebe Griffiths of Ellesmere College Titans, 4:21.47 for her, and Molly Wright of Nova Centurion makes it a very good race indeed for those on the outside lanes with a time of 4:22.46.
A great swim there from Rachel Anderson. An outside lane as well, and no one on the other side of her, lane 9 empty. Really a strong swim, and she paced that exactly right. She was biding her time over that first 200, where the likes of Millie Emmons was coming through, the likes of Phoebe Griffiths and Molly Wright had gone out quite hard. Rachel Anderson just bode her time and then came through when it mattered down that final 100. Great swim, 4:20.54 for her. Griffiths second, 4:21.47. Molly Wright in third, 4:22.46.
Yeah, some fine swims all over the pool there. Nice to see in our B finals that they've been able to live up as races to some of the quality that we've seen in the A finals. It's not always easy to do, but they've done it pretty well. We're going to have some relays next up. excited for these men's 400 medley team events. It always seems to be the way to round off this Winter Championships, and they haven't changed it for this year. It's always a fun event for some of the younger swimmers in particular. Got Wellingborough, Peterborough, Plymouth Leander, City of Sunderland, City of Oxford, Pioneer 79 and Hatfield.
And you know, it's a chance as well to gain some bragging rights over your fellow clubs. You can always say, well, I beat you at the Winter National Championships in the 4x100. Interestingly enough, this morning in the race for lanes for this medley relay, Mount Kelly won the heat, but were then disqualified for a takeover. There was one to the naked eye which looked very close. I couldn't have called it, but the officials poolside did. Plymouth Leander had really challenged them for the lead before, really easing off on the last 50. So watch out for Plymouth Leander. They are having a tremendous evening this afternoon.
And they've also
Mount Kelly should be in here, but they took a risk and it did not pay off this morning.
Yeah, Plymouth Leander didn't take risks this morning. And do keep a lookout for them when they do go into that last 100 metres, because they have got man of the hour Tom Fannon on the anchor. If you want someone to go home quick on a last 50, take the man who's just met the 50-metre free qualification standard. Already in form, already swimming well. He's just going to gun this one.
I'd say that'll do it, won't it? Get Tom Fannon on your last leg. That'll work. This is going to be very exciting indeed. The 4x100 medley relays, always thrilling to watch. Exciting stuff, and Ponsford very much behind these fellas in the water. We do have the ladies coming up just afterwards as well. So don't go anywhere, a few more events to come.
It's the way we're signing off in style. The men's 400 metres medley relay, our penultimate race of the championships.
DQ leading City of Sunderland in the heats earlier on, making them the fastest team going into this final, but take nothing away from them. They certainly were very quick, particularly in the second half of the race, bursting out of the traps very, very early on here, though, in lane 6, Pioneer 79. That's Thomas Gilroy going in the lane and turning comprehensively first as well by a whole second ahead of City of Peterborough. Have Jamie Scholes in the pool right now. And just tucked away behind them in lane 3, Plymouth Leander and Perry Gardner. Those four in the Plymouth Leander team mustering up a time of 4:02 on the dot earlier on today. It was so close between the three fastest teams in particular, less than half a second separating them. But at the moment, Pioneer 79 are the ones really going out there and grabbing this one by the horns. They make the first changeover, nearly a second in front.
Yeah, onto the breaststroke leg of the medley relay we go. Great start from Pioneers 79. Joseph Murray takes over on the breaststroke for them. Just around second place over in lane 2. Thomas Wiggins taking over from good work from Jamie Scholes as they turned and changed over in second place. Plymouth Leander won't be far away in third. And they're just behind Oxford, who've gone out nicely on the breaststroke. That's David Murphy taking over from Lewis Gilchrist and going along very nicely. So a quite distinct front four. Anybody's raced this. Still just about ahead. Our Pioneer 79 being led on the breaststroke, I should say, by Joseph Murray. Just ahead of City of Oxford, who are really motoring here. David Murphy having a brilliant breaststroke leg. He's taken them from nowhere really into real contention in this one. And as they change over, it is City of Oxford who hit the front. 2:01.98, the split at the 200 as David Murphy hands over to Conor Bryan. Plymouth Leander in second, City of Peterborough third.
And look at the motor beginning to be mustered up now by Plymouth Leander in lane 3. In the pool for them is Rhys Dunn, taking the baton over from Adam Chillingworth now onto this butterfly leg, and already he's managed to turn a deficit into a clear advantage over City of Oxford in lane 5. Conor Bryan coming into this 100 metres could not have wished for a better race from David Murphy preceding him. However, he's really been having his work cut out, should I say, by Plymouth Leander and Rhys Dunn. They're looking very formidable at the moment at the Southwest outfit, and Thomas Fannon, who else would you want on that final 100 metre freestyle? He's going to have quite a commanding lead. Pioneer 79 chopping away, getting back into this one in lane 6. Ewan McCavett sniffing blood there on Conor Bryan and City of Oxford, who now have a bit of a challenge on if they're to get back into at least second spot, but Plymouth Leander soaring ahead.
Yeah, brilliant fly leg from Plymouth Leander there. Rhys Dunn taking it out so quickly, completely flipping the race on its head. And when you've got this man bringing it home, Tom Fannon already swum the qualification, standing in the 53. We know he's quick over this distance, and the evidence is right here in the pool. Plymouth Leander should bring this home through Tom Fannon.
Yeah, Plymouth Leander on this final 200 metres, seemingly swimming with dynamite. Look at the amount of water they've got around them here. Clearly onto shot, almost by himself, Thomas Fannon. It is a comfortable win for them. Pioneer 79 will get the second spot, and look at that for a late charge from City of Peterborough, just getting there ahead of City of Oxford by a matter of tenths of a second. But once again, superb celebrations for the contingent that have made the long trip to Sheffield this weekend. Goodness me, it has been well worth it. Plymouth Leander possibly saving their best performance of the weekend for last. 3:47.58 they come out on top. Pioneer 79 gets silver, and City of Peterborough with bronze.
I would love to see Tom Fannon split there on that 100 freestyle. Of course, it won't stand as an official PB due to the nature of the start not being set and being a takeover instead, but I bet he went mighty quick over that final leg, as too was the fly leg. Rhys Dunn, would love to see what he did there, because he just decimated the field.
Yeah, it's usually the breaststroke leg in a medley relay where you really see the X factor make their way through the field. Generally speaking, you know, it's quite difficult to make that much of a difference on a more sprint feeling leg, and that was utterly magnificent from Rhys Dunn, really superb. And when I mentioned it before the start of the race, when you got Tom Fannon bringing it home in the form he's in, Plymouth didn't really need Rhys Dunn's leg, but they got it, and then Tom Fannon did the rest. It was a polished job and a really good swim from Plymouth Leander.
Very exciting stuff indeed. Now we have one more race to bring you from the final day of the Winter National Championships here in Sheffield. It's been a fantastic 5 days, and we've got one more final to sew it up in style. Pioneer 79, City of Peterborough, Mount Kelly, Birmingham University and Hatfield, all racing here for the women's 4x1 medley team relay.
Yeah, it should be a good one this. Again, so some of our younger swimmers choosing to really give this a go. City of Peterborough will be there or thereabouts. Mount Kelly already been on the podium in the relays this week.
Looking at some of the names in there as well, you've got Athena Clayson, Kaylee Decker, Mia Leach, Poppy Richardson, Amelia Monaghan. We've seen these names swimming events all week. They've been busy. I did see some tired swimmers this morning in the heats. One last effort for these ladies. One last splash and dash before they can get maybe a couple of days off over Christmas, but not many. They have Christmas Day off, these swimmers, and they're back in on Boxing Day. Very tough indeed. What can these ladies do here for their relative clubs?
Yeah, there's City of Peterborough, very good young crop of youngsters, particularly the young girls down at Peterborough, Anna Blakely, Amelia Monaghan, Mia Leach and Poppy Richardson, their team. Pioneer 79 complete the field with Isabel Cockram, Isabel Forrest, Simone Ellison and Megan Lever. Mount Kelly were quickest this morning. Well, I wouldn't read too much into that. Teams change, styles change, and it should be a great race. Let's find out where it's going to go. Our final race of the championships. That final race of the year, really, in England's women's 400 metres medley team event.
Well, the women here with a lot to live up to after the exploits of the men in that last relay. Breathless stuff and a tremendous performance from Plymouth Leander. I think this one's going to be a lot tighter. However, it couldn't really have been more dominant, could it, from Plymouth in the last race? 4 and 5 immediately going out there. Mount Kelly in 4, Athena Clayson on the backstroke, and Jessica Shaw for Birmingham University in the pool for them right now in the red cap. And turning first off the wall is Mount Kelly by 600ths of a second, but very difficult to tell on the naked eye there. The difference between the two very much together as they turned synchronized there. However, on this back 50, Mount Kelly and Athena Clayson with a bit of spring in the stroke as she begins to propel her arms around and come towards the wall, where she will pass over to Neve Robinson. And as for Birmingham University, Ellen Stone will be the one next to fly their flag. One change straight after the other, but Mount Kelly are the ones in front. Let's look at the rest of the pool as well. We've got Hatfield in lane 6. It's Sophie Payne doing this next set of 100. And you can see City of Peterborough as well. The East Region Rivals in lane 3. Amelia Monaghan, so strong on the breaststroke. And she really wants to watch over the course of the remaining 60 metres or so on this leg. But out in front, it's Neve Robinson still doing exactly what's required of her after the great start from Athena Clayson. She's not letting this lead stick, and in fact, she's actually building on it. And that is pretty worrying stuff for Birmingham University. Ellen Stone doing her best. She's probably halfway right now between Mount Kelly in first position with Neve Robinson, and then the joint third of City of Peterborough in 3 and Hatfield in 6. That's going to bubble along very nicely indeed, that battle for bronze. It's got a lot of excitement riding on it. But at the front, Mount Kelly, Neve Robinson, she is the one very much in charge, and Kaylee Decker will be tasked now to keep that lead going along for the final 100. Georgina Dennis, remember, she'll be on the freestyle leg for Mount Kelly, and certainly she's someone that you'd be wanting to pass over an advantage to. Very strong swimmer. So, Kaylee Decker, the one out in front, couple of seconds lead over Birmingham University. Charlotte Taylor, the one who at the moment must feel like she's dragging herself through treacle, because she, despite her best efforts, cannot see a way of dragging Kaylee Decker back in towards the battle for gold. Still City of Peterborough and Hatfield, hammer and tong going away at it in lane 3. It's Mia Leach in the pool for them right now. Hatfield ever so slightly behind, but do not rule out Shannon Stoddard as she turns. The margin is not as big as you perhaps fear at the start of that leg. Them two are going to go right down to the wire, believe me. But at the front, Mount Kelly are just extending their lead even further. A bit of a procession at the end of this third leg, but certainly Kaylee Decker won't be treating it like that. She has to know that Georgina Dennis needs every single metre possible in front of Birmingham University, and that's exactly what she'll get. A very healthy buffer then, separating first and second, as Georgina Dennis is 100 metres away from Mount Kelly, claiming the final gold of the weekend here in Sheffield at the Swim England National Winter Championships. Birmingham University, a bit of hairy, scary stuff from them. Sarah Warwood in the pool for them right now, but Hatfield are sniffing on their tails. Amy Godsave is the one currently in the pool for them. So did Peterborough have Poppy Richardson tasked with trying to drag Hatfield back into a pursuit for bronze. That's going to be tough, because Hatfield do hold the marginal advantage in that respect, but Mount Kelly comfortably still are the ones leading the way. Georgina Dennis doing exactly what she needs to do here, still kicking strong, not letting this one ride at all. She will keep going at the front. No complacency involved here from Mount Kelly, who have been fantastic as a team all the way through this one, and it's going to be really about time rather than anything, because the gold medal will be Georgina Dennis's and will be Mount Kelly's. 4:16.09, second spot Birmingham University just hanging on. Commendable from them, because Hatfield were on their tails throughout, as was City of Peterborough, who unfortunately miss out completely on a medal. But what a breathless way to end the week here at Ponsforge. Mount Kelly then winning the gold medal, Birmingham University silver, ever so slightly ahead of Hatfield, who get bronze.
Yeah, brilliant swim there from
So there we have it,
Mount
ladies and
Kelly.
gentlemen, the end of the action here.
4:16.09, just ahead of Birmingham University and Hatfield in second and third. Those medal ceremonies will be coming up for you fairly shortly. Delighted to say we've been joined in the studio by Joe Litchfield of the city of Sheffield. Very, very familiar with this pool here at Ponds Forge. Joe, pleasure to have you with us. How are you feeling after tonight's events?
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, I swam the win, I got the win. I swam a decent time, PB+1, it's not a bad race. Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, I've already got the qualification time for the Commonwealth, so hopefully that'll be enough for me to get on the team, which should be announced in the next few days, really. Yeah.
And what's that wait like for those of us who've never had to deal with the concept of qualification times and trials? Obviously, it's a pretty agonising wait, especially at this time of year.
Yeah, well, I've always had it like at junior level, like when I made teams back then, and I was always like, I was a bit more secure with the space when I was there. But I have had it before, and it's not nice having to wait, because you just want to know if you're on the team and you want to know what your year's going to look like next year. And yeah, this next week's going to be, I mean, if hopefully with getting the selection, I'd be happy, really happy. And yeah, just.
And it would mean as well that you join your brother Max over at the Commonwealth Games. That'd make for a pretty special Christmas dinner, right?
Yeah, I mean, it should be to have Max there with me, it'd be great. Like, hopefully when I get there, like, if I make the team, that was the first day, and get there, I've got to make the final. And if I make the final, I'm pretty sure Max is going to make that final, for both of us to be in the final together would be a great achievement for not just us, but for Sheffield, for all the coaches that have coached us both in the past, and Great Britain as well, England, should I say, in Commonwealth.
Yeah, absolutely. And talk to us a little bit about the city of Sheffield. So I know you guys are super tight-knit here. You all seem to get on very, very well. And we saw that moment with Rosie and Ellie on day number 2 as well. There seems to be a real sort of family spirit here at City of Sheffield. You'll swim here all the time. You're all very used to it. It must be quite special.
Yeah, I think the group at the moment, we've got, like, there's no, like, bad energy between us. Like, everyone's friends, and everyone's always happy in training. Everyone's wants to be here. Like, and I think that's something that Sheffield hasn't had for a while. I'm not sure what previous years were like, but from what we've been told, like, the group of us at the moment are like really knit together, and we all get along really well. And yeah, it's a great group of people to swim with, and yeah.
And I know Max was here for your race earlier on this week. What's it like having him from the sidelines and not having to swim against him this week? It must be quite strange.
It's strange because he's just been in and around, but he's been there supporting me, and he's a great person to support you because he's already there, and that makes me want to think I want to be there with him. But yeah, it's been great having Max here. And
it must be, for us from the outside looking in, it must be so strange constantly racing against your brother, especially when you swim the same events. We saw the Belgian twins actually this week, the Boris Savlievich swim the same races. Now you're very, very used to that. I know you've been doing it for years, ever since the junior levels. But is it sort of strange, especially when you think you could be on the international stage then competing against and with him?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been competing against him and training with him for the last God knows how many years, and we've never been on a team together, like a proper team, and this would be the first time. It'll be great to go there together and get our name out there even more, and know that he's not the only Litchfield coming through.
Well, we would love to see it. We wish you all the very best. And unfortunately, we can't congratulate you just yet, but you have got the time. We do wish you all the very best, Joe, to get out to the Commonwealth Games, and all the very best for that, and have a lovely Christmas for yourself as well.
Too.
Thank you very much. Taking a look at the medal ceremony now in the 200 metres backstroke. Luke Greenbank on top of the podium in the senior category. This is the silvers. Daniel Cross and Nick Skelton picking up the medals in this one. Here come our gold medals and trophies for Luke Greenbank and Jacob Davies. Some fine swims there.
Yes, very much just honouring the performances we've seen so far. That 200 backstroke was very good indeed. And another stunning performance, perhaps the moment of the night for me, Laura Stephens in the 200 fly. Absolutely stunning race, a 2:09. Delighted to say she is with me now in the studio. Laura, talk me through that race. You said just before we came on you can't actually remember it. Is it all still a blur for you? What went through your mind down that final 50, for example?
Yeah, I mean, by the time I got to that last 50, it was just all about beating that time, getting under the 2:10 mark, which I've been trying to do now for sort of over a year and a half. So to finally get under that barrier, it was just literally in my head, I was just get to Commonwealth, just keep kicking, keep your stroke together. My friends were saying that, yeah, in the last 15 it looked like I was almost upright, but that doesn't matter. I got to the wall, I looked up and I saw the time, and yeah, I was just overwhelmed.
And I think on fly, as much as any stroke, you can really tell when a swimmer is fatiguing, when they're tiring, and yeah. You look like you were tying up, shall we say, in those last 15 metres or so. But you did it, that's what counts. You haven't PB'd coming into this for 18 months. Just how sweet was that moment when you looked up and you saw not even a 2:10 but a 2:09?
Yeah, I know. I got to the wall and just the thing in my head was like, if I look up and I see a 2:10, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I looked up, saw the 2:09 thing, and I just thought, thank goodness for that. I mean, we've really had to sort of look over how I was going to train this season. We've replanned the whole structure of my program and put a lot more meterage down, and it's been really tough work, but we've got a really great group to train with at the moment at Plymouth, and we're all getting on really well, and yeah, it seems to be working, it seems to be paying off, so I'm really happy.
Absolutely on fire tonight as well, Plymouth Leander. You guys are truly steaming through. How important is that for getting everyone up and raring to go when racing? When you see one really inspiring performance, it kind of leads to more, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Once I saw, I was the first swimmer from Plymouth in the pool tonight, so obviously you want to sort of set the standard for the rest of them, and
no pressure.
It just seems that once we got one medal, then they've just kept on coming and coming, and that's just so great to see when the rest of the teams, having fun, enjoying themselves, and we all just lift each other.
Very much so, and then of course the goal for Tom Fannon as well, and then he came back for the medley relay, and the fly leg did that, all the damage done there by Reece Dunn. Tom Fannon bringing that one home. How inspiring have you found it to watch the performances here throughout the week, not just from yourself and your rivals in the pool, but also teammates and indeed the wider swimming world as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see the other senior athletes, everyone's been stepping up. I mean, watching the 400 IM on the first day, that really sort of set the standard.
That was
3
stunning,
girls
wasn't it?
Getting under the Commonwealth time, it was like, wow, okay, we need to do that as well. So yeah, it's just been inspirational watching everyone else race, and race well, race fast at this time of the season as well. It's December, we're only halfway through. It's quite hard to peak around this time, but everyone seems to have done a really great job.
And you're just 18 years of age, to put this into some perspective, and off to the Commonwealth Games. What does that mean to you? Potentially off, we should say. We're waiting for the official selection, but you've done all you can now. It's out of your control. What would it mean to you to race next year on the Gold Coast?
It would just be everything to represent Team England. It would just, it's always been a dream, getting to the Olympics. That's sort of the main goal. And I knew that getting to Commonwealth would be a great stepping stone. It would be an amazing experience in Australia. So yeah, I'm really excited for that.
And of course to race in an international setup as well, to race for England, not perhaps GB, but for England. What will that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been on sort of a Commonwealth team before. I didn't go to youth commies, so it'll be new. It'll be something completely different. But no, I'm really excited to be in the multi-sport environment again, because being to sort of European Games and things like that, when you've got other athletes, you can learn from their sports as well, watch their sports, and I really like doing that. So yeah, I'm really excited.
And coming into this meet, not PBing for 18 months, you must have been so frustrated. What do you put your form, that turn of form here, down to? How hard have you been working behind the scenes? Yeah,
I mean, these from sort of start of the season in September all the way up until now, it's been really tough training. Me and Robin, we've been working together really closely, and we've had a really good we've managed to get a really solid block in, so we can hopefully build on that now for the rest of the season leading into commies. And yeah, everything has just sort of fallen into place right when we needed it to, so that's really good.
And you went out so hard in that 200 fly. Honestly, I was like, she's going for this one.
Yes.
Were you worried at all that the wheels would come off on that final leg? Is that how you like to swim a 200 fly?
Yeah, I mean, normally, I haven't really had a look at my splits or anything yet, but normally I do seem to sort of, just stay chilled out down the first 50, second 50.
You didn't
and then,
today.
Yeah, and then try to sort of bring it in, but in the second 100. But no, today I got up on the blocks and I thought, I've got to do it, so off I go.
And the numbers in training coming into this meet, were they very much indicating this was a possibility for you? Yeah,
we sort of, I knew I could do it, my coach knew I could do it. It was just a matter of now just getting up there and performing when it mattered, and I managed to do it. So.
And we're seeing now the men's 4x100 medley medals being presented. A word on your teammate, your clubmate Tom Fannon, getting that consideration time in perhaps one of the hardest events to get it in because of the finest margins. The 50-metre freestyle, 22.10. He did just 200ths inside. That's all he needed. He joins Ben Proud next year, hopefully, on the Gold Coast. A word for him. How impressive was that for you to watch as well?
Yeah, it's great to see Tom. I mean, he can always step up. He's a great athlete, and I'm really happy for him, really proud of him to be able to get that time as well. I mean, so much the 50s just down to getting absolutely every detail right. I know that there's a lot of makes it a lot of pressure on that event, whereas sort of in the 200 fly, if you get the first length wrong, you can always build it back in the last 3. So everything has to fall into place, and that happened for him tonight. So I'm really happy for him.
Emotions are running high down on poolside, aren't they? Very much ups and downs throughout the week. And just to put it in some perspective, can you tell us an average week for you? What do you do week in, week out in the pool? And I guess all that hard work comes down to, for you, 2:09 today. 2 minutes 9 in the pool.
Yes. Well, I train 10 times a week, so twice on Monday, twice on Tuesday, once on Wednesday, twice on Thursday, twice on Friday, once on Saturday in the pool. And then I also do 3 land training sessions with my gym coach, Paris Payne. So I'm sure he'll be really proud to see that all of his hard work that he's put in the gym as well has really helped, really paid off, because we've also sort of mixed up how we've worked this season in the gym, and it's all come together really nicely. So yeah, most of my starts, it varies throughout the week. Some of my sessions are quite early, getting in the pool water at sort of 5:30 in the morning. Some of them start a bit later at 7, so yeah, 7 a.m.
A lion.
Great. And then I then go to Plymouth Uni during the day. I'm on my course, architectural engineering, so I go in,
Engineering, sorry, you can't see off camera there, I just pulled a face of saying engineering alongside being an international swimmer. Wow.
Yes, yeah, it's been a matter of working closely with the uni, because they're really understanding of what I do, the sort of toll that training can take on you. You're very exhausted by the end of the week, so they understand what's going on. And so yeah, then I go into uni, and then I'm back into the pool in the afternoon most days, and then somewhere in there I'll also fit in a land training session. So I get Sunday off. So
Sundays off, rest day on a Sunday.
So
Excellent.
yeah, we work literally. It's just taking each week one at a time, working towards my Sunday rest day, recovering, and then just doing it all over again.
We're seeing such strong junior performances as well. What do you think about the future of junior girls swimming?
Yeah, I mean, it's looking really strong. The girls that are coming through, I mean, they're breaking the British records, the age group records, so that they're on track to be really fast in the future. There were some great swims at World Juniors this summer, and Emily Large, obviously, she's qualified on the event as well, and she's a really strong 200 fly swimmer at such a young age. So yeah, it's really great to see that.
And how's the rivalry, the battle between you two?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, there's always going to be rivalry when you swim the same event, but no, I think it's just a matter of supporting each other to swim fast and keep on improving.
Now, what next for you? Obviously, we've got Christmas coming up.
Yes.
Everyone at home's got their feet up, they're eating, they're drinking.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going home now, resting, recovering, and then, enjoying Christmas as much as possible, but also staying focused, just carrying on now to complete my next goal, which will be hopefully swimming at the Commonwealth. So got to keep that in mind, got to get back into the pool and look at what we can improve from that, and just move forward with my coach Robin.
How many days off are you getting after this meet?
Well, that is a good question.
Up for negotiation.
Yeah, that's still, we haven't decided that yet. We'll see. We'll see.
All right, brilliant. Well, Laura, thank you so much for joining us here in the studio. We will let you go and begin that recovery.
Yep.
I'm sure you'll be back in the pool sooner rather than later. Thank you very much to you,
That's
Laura.
great. Thank you.
Just one of the promising junior athletes to come through the system here and to be hopefully part of that Team England setup come the Commonwealth Games. And you know, so grounded, so mature for an 18-year-old as well. She knows exactly what she wants and she knows exactly how to get it as well. And to not only be balancing a full-time international swimming program, she's also doing an engineering degree as well. That is something.
I believe the phrase is no rest for the wicked. And yeah, Laura Stephens won't get an awful lot of that, but a very, very talented young swimmer in more ways than one. As Birmingham Uni here pick up their silver medal in the relay. And they tailed behind Mount Kelly in this one, who will pick up the gold. But lovely to speak to our swimmers who have done so well this week. They really have set new bars for this time of year. It was unexpected to see at this kind of championships the times that we have. They really have been superb. So many swimmers hitting consideration times. So many of our swimmers who have already nailed those times here this week, swimming very, very quickly as well. Speaking of the likes of Ellie Faulkner, Holly Hibbert, Luke Greenbank tonight, looking really, really good. It's good to see heading into what will be a very, very busy 2018.
Yeah, you know what, that 400 free was brilliant, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it really was. You see our final medal presentation. Just there, it was a nice one for Mount Kelly. They'll be really, really pleased with that to pick up the win in the relay. And the relays are really one for the clubs in the national scene. Some of the younger swimmers give it a go, and you can see it means a lot to those youngsters as well. A chance to get a gold medal on top of the podium, it's never one they're going to turn down.
And their proud smile standing next to a senior swimmer as well. Swimmers they're very much looking up to. They look ahead to those older age groups as they come through the ranks and think, one day I'll be swimming those times, I'll be winning this, I'll be winning that. And to stand next to those swimmers, it paves the way for the next generation to come through. Your highlight of the evening?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think it has to actually be. We've just had her in the studio, but Laura Stephens' reaction to when she looked up at that scoreboard and she realised she'd done it, all the work that she put in, it was all worth it in the end. It was a really, really emotional reaction and lovely to see. We love seeing the human side of sport more than anything else, and I think that's what's really, really special about a reaction like that. It meant so much. All the hard work had all of a sudden paid off, and just as that emotion rolled over, it was so visible to all of us watching, and a really lovely moment. How about yourself?
It was so clear, Laura Stephens, and her reaction was lovely. And the fact that we found out here in the studio she hadn't PB'd for 18 months coming into it, that's amazing to see. I have to say, as a former 400 freestyle swimmer, Laura Stephens was fantastic tonight, but that battle between Ellie Faulkner, the tactics, the pacing, the way they came down that final 50, for me, that was the highlight of the night. Ellie Faulkner's victory just over Holly Hibbert.
So our final presentation of the evening and indeed of the championships, and this is for our swimmers of the meet, and no surprise to see these two on top of the podium one more time. Ellie Faulkner been absolutely brilliant for the city of Sheffield. Big smile on the face. And that's William Bell stood next to her, the youngster from the city of Leicester, junior swimmer, picked up so many junior medals. We've completely lost track. It's been relentless, William Bell. He's swum so many.
Some of the swimmers' schedules here have been relentless, haven't they? They've been in and out the pool, heats, final swims. No rest for the wicked whatsoever. Those two looking very happy indeed, though, with their week. As they should be.
Nice moment there as one of our juniors and one of their seniors picking up their trophies. Not everyone able to pick up because swimmers live very, very different schedules in terms of swim meets. It really can go a bit haywire this time of year especially.
Absolutely. Well, that is it from the Swim England National Winter Championships. 5 days of fast and ferocious swimming. The last chance for some of England's best swimmers to hit those consideration times needed to put themselves in the mix for the Gold Coast next year. And we've had highs and we've certainly had lows, haven't we? We mentioned it earlier, but your highlight of the week, would you still say the 100 free?
Oh, it's tough. It's between that and outside the pool, the reaction from the 400 IM. Rosie Rudin and Ellie Faulkner really giving us a proper moment inside the pool here at Ponds Forge. And there was, let me tell you, and it's not exaggeration, there was barely a dry eye in the house when that happened.
There were a few tears amongst the officials on poolside and the staff and spectators alike as well. I would still say the 100 freestyle for me. That was a moment I don't think I will ever see again, to be honest, in swimming. Truly magnificent to watch. And indeed, we've had such stunning finals here in Sheffield. Senior swimmers very much stepping up. And do you know what? The junior swimmers, those young swimmers coming through, what a future we have here in Swim England, in British swimming as well. It's looking very bright indeed.
Yeah, as we head into the new year, the swimmers will enjoy their Christmas. We heard from Laura saying she's going to enjoy slight Christmas, not too heavy, but she gets some Christmas at least. And then for a lot of our swimmers who swam here this week, all eyes go on the Gold Coast. Commonwealth Games towards the start next year in April, and then further beyond that, the European Championships. The swimming action in 2018 is going to be relentless, and I, for one, cannot wait.
Nor can I. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. But as we filter out here from Ponds Forge, the spectators are coming past us dancing, the Christmas music is blaring. That is all we have time for. So from all of us here at Ponds Forge in Sheffield, at the Swim England National Winter Championships, goodbye.
Goodbye.